guess what, the good Joseph fraternity? I was shocked. I actually related with two guys who are working for the NGOs or in NGOs, however you want to take it. But I didn't know actually these guys are earning a lot of money. And I was like, oh my goodness, how did you guys get these jobs? Because some of them are telling me I'm earning $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month. Some are earning $3,000 a month. 2,000. Girl, damn, that's a lot of money. By the way, if you're if you're watching this from Africa, that's a lot of money. And I was like, okay, hang on a second. You see, I love gathering information out there, coming here and share with you. And come on, I know, you know what? You guys, you follow me and you like my videos and you are here to educate each other. How about I share these tips and I ask them from inside the job, how exactly did you get here? And all those kind of things, all right? And that is exactly what I'm going to share with you. And I promise you, this video will only be like 14 minutes only. And that will be like the 14 minutes that can completely change your life. The only thing that I want you to do in return, that's like saying thank you, is to like the video. And if you're watching for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. There is something small around there on your right, just next to my subscribers there, written subscribe. Hit that magic button. Let's get to the business now. Here we are. See, the very first thing that you need to do, what they told me that you need to do, be on LinkedIn. Be on LinkedIn. What is it? If you're hearing it for the first time, this is like a social website. It's like we usually have the Facebook, we have the TikTok, we have the YouTube. Be on a social website called LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like people. Personally, I'm not there, and actually I've considered that. I'm actually opening an account there immediately. Well, not because I'm looking for the NGO job, but I'm doing so because I realize, wow, that is where you link up with people who are on the same mission as you and go customize, tailor, make, and do a very nice, sort of a profile about yourself. And that is where you relate with a lot of people. Actually, I didn't even know that you can actually get jobs and what have you. Come on, by the way, if you're in university, you're about to graduate, or you're just outside there and you're looking for a job, that is a place you're supposed to be, because LinkedIn is actually you linking up with people who are on the same mission as you. Either they're looking for the jobs or they do have the jobs with you that they can be able to share, because this is where you get these communities where they do the NGOs and what have you and such kind of a thing. So be the very first, don't even say anything, be on LinkedIn. That's where you go, get your, what do we call it, your profile, create your profile very well, get your nice picture out there, and obviously have a very nice description about yourself, what you can do, what your abilities, your passion, your criteria, your qualifications, your experiences, and all those kind of things. Paste them there. You never know who is watching and all those kind of things. You can actually get yourself having a lot of followers and such kind of a thing, as you can get something. Anyway, fine, let's get to the practicality of this information. See, these guys, they told me, if you want to get into something that is called the NGOs and the jobs, they told me you must engage yourself into the social activities in the community, because most of these NGOs, they relate with people. By the way, have you ever realized one thing? These people who engage in kind of funny activities like arts, like drawings or something of sort, like maybe they say, hey, we can go visit like orphans somewhere in certain orphanage. Maybe we can go do something like, hey, I'm an animal enthusiast. I just hate when I see animals get mistreated and what have you. I just love dogs. I love cats. Have you ever met those kind of guys? Okay, to some of the people may feel like weird, like boring, like such kind of a things. Those are the things that can actually get you into those jobs. You love helping people. You just love to go. Maybe you love helping women. You love just go to the interior parts to say of our country where women, some of them do not have some of the information maybe about when they are giving birth, how they're supposed to take care of when they have the gestation period. Like those kind of activities, engage on those things. And guess what happens? Don't engage on those activities when your camera is switched off. You have the smartphone, and don't tell me you do not have it. You have it, and that's why you're watching this video. I'm pretty sure you're not watching with that phone. That you get what I'm saying. See, if you can actually go there, record those videos, post them. Guess what? Today I met at the Maasai ladies. I was doing this. I'm just using Maasai ladies as an example. Okay. Today I went there. This place. Did this. I did this. This is what I do. I love. I'm enthusiast about this and all those kind of things. Engage in those activities. Be out there. Yes, may not pay you, and I know you're like, Joseph, how am I gonna pay my bills? See, when you start arguing like that, it becomes a little bit technical and tough for me to answer you. But the reality is this: one thing must be sacrificed. I'm not saying like you switch off from paying your bills and not eating and not dressing, you go start doing that. No, you have to look for that available times and you do such kind of a things. And if you cannot be able to do so, follow those groups that do exactly that. When they are doing that, contribute. You see, when I always tell people, if you do not have the money, you can contribute your time, you can contribute your energy, you can contribute your expertise. Well, the moment you realize maybe there there's existing groups that are doing exactly that. You can tell them, guess what, guys, I'm a computer expert. I know things to do with computer. I can prepare you a very nice record about all the activity that goes on, maybe the amount of money that you're keeping, those kind of things. There is something that you can sort of provide for those activities for them, actually, for you to be an individual who is valuable and all those kind of things. And guess what, guys, I'm a very good chef. I know how to cook. People tell me that I do cook a very nice food. And by the way, next time you're going there, guys, count me in. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna make you a very nice lunch and what have you. You have to show up as an individual who is valuable to them, so that at least next time when the official sees you or you're out there, they ask, what are you, what's your name, what do you do? I do this and this. I love helping, I love doing things, this is my passion, this is what I do. By the way, I can draw. By the way, I do this. So you have to be a valuable individual. I said, if you do not have the money, you can provide the energy, you can provide your time, and you can provide as well your expertise. You have to have something that you're providing. But the moment you show up to those NGOs, you're starting to explain, guess what, I do not have anything, I've not eaten in 1 week, I would like you to give me a job, because guess what, I'm the only person the entire family is relying on. I think you're the one who needs to be helped on those orphanages rather than them giving you a job. So you're supposed to tell them, first start with what you can. And by the way, these aspects of texting people and asking them, do you have any job? There's nothing like any job. You have to specify, hey, guess what, I'm looking for a job, this is how my qualification, I can do this and this and this and that and that. But if, because you want to see, when you say you want any job, I know you are trying to scan what we call scat your what we call your nets wider. What you're supposed to do is start with your specification of what you can, but at the end of the conversation, you can end with, but for now, I'm open to anything that I can be able to be valuable on, and such kind of a thing. Guess what? You have not limited them with what you can, but you have told them what you can, yes, but you're open to just anything else that can actually result out there, and I can be able to fill that gap, and I can be able to be a valuable partner. Because I am tired of seeing people going out there and trying to play the needy kind of a perspective. That's wrong. By the way, some of these activities may need you to be a frontier. Because I was asking those guys, how did you get yourself into this? By the way, guess what? I'm just an artist. I love drawing and all those kind of things. And guess what? I'm so much enthusiast. Sometimes, okay, I'm not good at communicating like you, Joseph, but I'm good at arting. There are some people who draw some things, and once they draw, they communicate a lot of information. You get what I'm saying? Let's go to the next step. The next step is that when you do what? You are a person of integrity. But then what I came to realize one thing, if you've ever worked in a government, most of the people who are employed by the government, and I stand corrected, but anyway, I'm referring to the government of Kenya. You can actually go to an office, or a government office. You want a very simple stamp for you to proceed, maybe say for a passport and what have you. People are kind of mistreating you. It's like they're doing you a favor. They're dragging themselves. They feel they are so much entitled, like, you're supposed to. So I don't know. They just feel like they're doing you a favor. And so if you have that kind of a personality whereby you just want to show up in the morning at 8 or whatever the time, get out of the place at 5 p.m. and you're done, provided your day is up, you cannot go into the NGOs jobs with that kind of a mentality. If they tell you are employed for 7 hours, for 8 hours, for 10 hours, whichever the time, on the conditions of the agreement or the contract, you must be somebody who is of integrity. And integrity here also, it means things to do with, hey, are you trustable with money? Can you actually be able to handle people's money? Actually, when we tell you, hey, guess what? Those kind of things. If you're a driver, if you're given that car, you don't use for personal uses, where you go carry those loads. And I mean, like, if you have that kind of a character, forget about the NGOs. They are very, very strict. Very, very, very strict. You must be somebody who is has the integrity, and also you have what we call, you are an upright individual. You must possess those skills. How about you allow me to go to the next point? Thank you. Now, the other one is about language and expression. Let me tell you one thing, my friends, my dear sisters and brothers. If you cannot express yourself, not only for the NGOs jobs, but for anything in this life, forget about you succeeding in life. If you cannot express, if you do not have the language, you do not know how to express yourself, you must work. For example, when you're applying for this language, these NGOs, they tell you if you can speak English. But then, for example, let's say maybe they are having a job, let's say in a place like Sudan or Djibouti or Somalia, or say in a French sort of a country like CAR or something. They tell you, anyone with a French, whatever, is an added advantage or something of sort. Some of these things you can actually go and get these skills from free websites here. Either you can Google search them, or you can just pay some few coins and get that certificate where you learn your French, you learn your Spanish, you learn your thing. You can actually translate, because some of these NGOs, they love, for example, if you work with like EUN, you will realize that, hey, for example, if they want workers to go in Ethiopia, they ask you, can you speak Amharic? Can you be able to speak Dutch? Can you be, okay, I'm not saying Dutch they speak in Ethiopia, I'm just using as an example. So you have to know exactly some of these tips, okay? If it's about the language, even the English itself, it's not even working. The mother tongue is really affecting you. Somebody cannot even understand when you are saying the B and P, they with a big stomach, with a big head. I mean, you cannot even express yourself. You really need to work on how you express yourself. And by the way, things to do with the accent cannot be the problem, but how you express yourself. Do you actually, do you have the confidence? Do you have the aura? Do you have the charisma? Do you have that thing of expressing your, can you stand before a camera? Can you stand before people, talk and communicate, say something? See, by the way, I always tell people, you'd rather say a lie confidently rather than they say the truth with sort of like doubts, you don't believe, like low self-esteem. You're supposed to be an individual who speaks confidently. You're confident, you can express yourself, work on your language, how you, all those kind of things. Communication skills, I think that would be the best appropriate term to use. Communication skills, if you work on that, then guess what, getting these jobs actually becomes way easier than you thought. All right. The other thing is that about the flexibility. Flexibility here simply means that, okay, fine. You see, if you're this kind of an individual, hey, you're just looking forward to working in big cities like Nairobi or what have you, or Johannesburg, and some of these jobs, they tell you, hey, can you work in some places like Marsabit? Can you work in places like Mandera? Can you work in places like Chalbi Desertos? Like extreme places, either very hot, very cold. Sometimes it can be hostile with wars and what have you. Can you be able to work in such kind of you can even work in places where there's a lot of diseases, maybe a pandemic has actually, you have to be an individual who is a little bit of a go-getter. You must be an individual who can actually go a little bit of to extreme, so that at least you can achieve that. But other way, if you are just a simple person who says, I cannot be able to do that, oh, I just have a little bit of heart and all those, you cannot be able to work on these specific areas. Because I've ever tried back then, when I didn't know exactly how this goes about, I realized, hey, guess what? They used to say, I remember that back then when I graduated, I used to go to the UN website when I was applying for the jobs and the careers that I studied and what have you. And I could see them saying, hey, be ready to work in extreme places. Obviously, there are allowances and what have you. This is what you expect, and then all those kind of things. Keep on checking those areas for you to understand. And sometimes, by the way, even in UN, whatever the branch of the UN you'd like to, UNICEF, UNESCO, WHO, FPO or World Food Program, WFP or something. So just go open an account with those in those areas and try to, whenever you hear there is a certain workshop, you just go there. Even if you're not getting anything, you just go there, learn something. Some of them, they give you a certificate. It can be a sort of like a first aid certificate or what have you. Those are things that you can actually immerse yourself, especially when you're young. All right, or especially when you're young, you're actually in the career thing, and you know very well, maybe you're an individual who you're too much career oriented kind of an individual. Focus and leverage on that time, so that at least you're actually working on your CV, and by the time that opportunity shows up, you might be the first person to be given that priority. And when you get the job, guess what happens now? When you get the job now, incorporate the things that we talk about here, the financial management, the investments and what have you, because even the NGOs, them paying you that a lot of money, at the end of the day, nobody employs you to get wealthy or rich. You're supposed to use your brains, be smart, and go out there, use that cash that you're getting to invest it, expand it, and grow yourself to the next level. Okay, how about I got the other point, the last one but not the least, is about network among the NGO sectors. Go check those guys who are working those NGOs, get to talk to them. Might not be physical, probably you don't even know where they are, but you can actually go out there to those social media that I've shared with you. Go to the pages where, for example, if you have some people who talked about, hey, we talk about the youth, and for example, we usually have some societies in Kenya that actually works on this to do with the FGM and what have you. Go to those places, contribute to them. When I say contribution, I say it again, it doesn't have to be necessarily money. It can be your time and such kind of a thing. So collectively, all those kind of things is what they shared. Those people who are employed in those NGOs, that's what they told me what you're supposed to do. And by the way, don't forget, there is a point that I forgot here. Tailor your application. When you're doing your application here, well, I'm not a career advisor how you're supposed to, sort of tailor your CV and what have you. When you're doing so, then let it be a bit presentable and such kind of a thing. Get yourself a nice CV, even if it means you paying somebody to prepare you a very nice CV, or maybe teach you how to prepare your nice CV, so be it, so that at least you can have actually your nice CV that whenever they ask you, or resume, or whatever they think that they're going to ask you, you have a nice one that you can front to them and you can do something about it. Guess what? That's the end of my video. But never forget, hey, I shared this video. Probably is a little bit different from what I usually share, but hey, guess what? I know some of you maybe are looking for these jobs and you wonder, how can I get them? Those are the points that I gathered. If I get something new again, I'm going to come here, God willing, and I'm going to share that information with you. So we make this a group, a great community where we not only watch each other, but as well, we actually be of help to each other and grow to the next level. For now, it's a goodbye. And by the way, guess what? If you would like to talk to me about investments, not about this one, because this is not really of my specialization, about investments, pick that number of mine, shoot me a call, let's talk about business. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.